Tuff Tiger Talk Flash Report.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being on this installment of Tuff Tiger Talk. I'm Big Q, represent the Tuff Tiger Talk Nation, man. It's another time for the a weekly report, Tuff Tiger Talk report. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the live on this one. Please do me a service for all the diehard LSU Tiger family members out there. Please do me a service. Hit the like button, hit the sub button, sub up, and share the show on social media feed with other diehard purple and gold like yourself, man. Listen, this one here in Tuff Tiger Talk, this episode, we're going to talk about a few things, man. We started the broadcast off with the matchup that obviously they're gearing up. LSU opened up the season against Clemson. We all are very aware of the fact that LSU hasn't won an opening day matchup since Coach Kelly's been here, and obviously this time around you got to applaud him for how he's been really taking on having these difficult games. A lot of people say, why don't you start off with a piddling game against some team in like a one season first week preseason soft matchup against a far less difficult opponent. LSU says, nah, man, if we are who we think we are, we're going to open this damn season up the right way. And this is the thing, LSU Clemson kicking off the ABC 2025 primetime Saturday college football schedule. That is big. As LSU will face off against Clemson with Klubnik. And this is going to be a very good game to start off the college football season. ABC will kick off the Saturday night football lineup this season with a likely top 10 clash between LSU and Clemson. So shout out to Stuart Mandel from The Athletic, who wrote this article, kind of informing us of it, that they'll do that. The announcement on the game is expected at Disney's Upfronts later Tuesday. So this is a game which we also really know that this is indeed the case for what'll happen here in 7:30 tip-off or kickoff on August the 30th. So you'll see two of the college football's perceived top football quarterbacks out there. You'll see LSU's Garrett Nussmeier and Clemson's Cade Klubnik battle each other. LSU's currently ranked in the preseason polls number 4th and Clemson's number 5, according to the Athletics top 25 right now. So we'll see how it all go. Also, the other week 1 matchups, Syracuse versus Tennessee at Atlanta, Alabama at Florida State. That's another one they're mentioning. They also will air Notre Dame at Miami. Very good matchups. A doubleheader with Boise State at USF and Nebraska against Cincinnati in Kansas City, Missouri. Network also has Virginia Tech against South Carolina in Atlanta at 3 p.m. and Bill Belichick's North Carolina's team debut against TCU at 8 p.m. on September the 1st, which is Labor Day. So also on that Monday, NBC released kickoff times for 7 Notre Dame home games, including their primetime visits versus Texas A&M on September the 13th, the matchup against USC on October the 18th, and Navy on November the 8th. So that's some of the news right there that LSU is opening up. What do you guys think about it? Put comments in the section below. Let me know. Do you guys think the diehard Tigers believe that LSU will finally get that opening day win to kick off the season, man? You got to kick off the season by, if you beat Clemson opening up, we know it's early, but that is a tone-setting game for LSU. They defeat Clemson, and how they defeat Clemson can ultimately, traject them in what a lot of people project is going to be a very good season for LSU. LSU has a lot of talent that came back here. Here we know Nussmeier returns. We know several other players returned. They had a very excellent transfer portal team that came on. They had excellent there. They had a fantastic recruiting class. And a lot of people believe with the mix of the college veterans returning and the really good recruiting class and the excellent transfer portal team that they put together, that this should catapult LSU into title contention. I don't want to kind of, beat it dead, kind of throw out no negative vibes on it, but that's the thought process around, the faithful, knowing that, hey man, we put all three together. This is supposed to be the year in which Coach Brian Kelly has three. He's been here for his third season. This is his team. This is his opportunity. He's installed this culture in the environment of Notre Dame. From Notre Dame to LSU. He's built up that. This is his team, his staff around him. He's put together a good football staff around him to go along with his players. And many people believe in the third season, this is supposed to be the year that Brian Kelly makes that jump to title contention. Does he do it this year? He has every opportunity to do that, and we'll see. I think it'll be a special season, to be honest with you. All right, let's move to this article. Paul Finebaum's at it again. You remember he called LSU, I think it was a hot mess and all this kind of stuff, even though he talks to Brian Kelly like, every week? Damn near every week, if not every week, during the football season. So him kind of taking jabs at LSU's program after how the team finished this past season. Well, he had a bit of a different opinion this time. Finebaum reveals one college football team worth the 2025 hype. Halfline Sports, Jaron Spohr is the writer, and this is what they had to say. In 2025 college football season, just a few months away, and during this extended offseason, several teams are generating excitement based on strong performances in previous years of productive offseasons. One team that faced disappointment last year, which hindered their chances of making the playoffs, but has shown promise this offseason, is the LSU Tigers. The Tigers finished with a record of 9-4, but struggled towards the end, losing 3 consecutive games after starting the year strong at 6-1. In response to the previous season, LSU has made a significant push in the transfer portal, ultimately ranking number 1 in team rankings for incoming transfers. In contrast, they have had a modest number 43 ranking for their transfer portal class last season after achieving 2 consecutive top 4 classes in years prior. This impressive offseason has positioned the Tigers with the 9th best odds to win the national championship in 2025. Now, Paul Finebaum said via his SEC Network analyst during his show that he endorsed the hype for LSU, signaling a wave of optimism for the upcoming season. He was quoted as saying, quote, "The hype for LSU football is not hype," Finebaum said. "I think it's real. The question I have is how does Coach Kelly navigate that schedule is daunting," end quote. Now, Finebaum did identify several challenging games for LSU this season. They're including the matchup, the opening season game against Clemson, a game against Florida Gators, who defeated LSU last season, the away game against Ole Miss, and the home game against South Carolina. He also pointed out that the games at Oklahoma and Alabama could particularly be difficult later in the year. Now, Finebaum believes LSU cannot afford to lose many games, but since they are playing Clemson at the start of the season, he thinks the Tigers may have more leeway compared to other SEC teams. Last season, LSU suffered losses to USC, Florida, Texas A&M, and Alabama. Now, Texas A&M was not mentioned as a challenging game this year, likely because it was played at LSU. Now, LSU's season opener against Clemson is August the 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So there you go, Coach Finebaum. And like I said, fam, Finebaum is right. That it's not just hype. It's what they were able to bring back. This is the most talented team that LSU has had under Brian Kelly, right? You have a Nussmeier that's last year was underwhelming. He comes back, and obviously we know why, because Underwood preference to stay with Michigan, and they pivoted quick to secure Nussmeier. Say, hold on, why don't you just come back? This can improve your draft stock and all this kind of stuff. Another year in the system here, they figured that he can have a lot more success. There are several other really good veterans that are coming back on top of the team. That is a positive. The fact that they had the top transfer portal class in the country would appease many needs, the pass rush needs. They had linebackers in there, defensive backs to help the secondary. They had some help with the wide receivers to get downfield. They had some offensive linemen that came in that could really boost the O-line to help them out there. And then the 2025 recruiting class was really good. Outside of them losing the quarterback to Michigan, they have a fantastic group of players to kind of accentuate. So all of these things in the mixture should boost the hype for LSU, because it's not just hype. It's truth. When you have the good college veterans at key positions coming back, and you have a top-notch transfer portal, and you have a solid recruiting class, I mean, one of the tops in the country, then that should definitely be the vibe that, hey, man, we have some components here where we can actually push for something this year. Could this be LSU's year? Finebaum, he thinks so. All right, let's go to this article here. LSU football schedule home and home series with SMU. This is right here by Matthew Broom of the Bengal Tiger. As LSU announced the home and home series with LSU set to take place for the 2028-29 season on Monday, the Tigers will host the Mustangs on September the 2nd in 2028 before making a trip to Dallas on September the 1st of 2029. SMU, now a member of the ACC, went 11-3 last year, reaching the college football playoffs where they dropped a 38-10 decision to Penn State in the opening round. LSU ended its last year 8-4 overall in the daunting SEC and lost 5 straight season openers dating back to 2020. Now the Tigers have Clemson in 25 and in 26, then SMU in 28 and 29, continuing to load up on challenging season openers. They're not backing away. Clearly ways to go before the two meet in that valley, but the incoming freshman class could be still playing for the Tigers when those two meet. There will be plenty of challenges across football until then. Now, LSU's preseason top 5 team in 2025, as we talked about earlier in another article, and On3 national college football writer Ari Wasserman released his spring top 25 this week, and he has Coach Kelly's Tigers firmly in the national spotlight at number 5. That sets the stage for one of the biggest season openers in the country as LSU will head to Death Valley, not Baton Rouge, but Clemson Memorial Stadium. We talked about it for that August the 30th Saturday battle against the number 3 Clemson club. So we don't need to remind the Tiger faithful of how the topic of discussion, but LSU has not won a season opener since 2019's championship season. That would be a huge weight off our shoulders to defeat Clemson. And I can appreciate a close game. Hopefully it'll be one we beat them down. That'll be really awesome. But then again, maybe not so much because we don't want to create, kind of a fake hype or whatnot, just a thorough win there. Brian Kelly isn't Mr. Popular, but he's unequivocally been a successful college coach during his career. Though things haven't gone according to plan in his first 3 years at LSU, we're at the point where they can start feeling like he needs a big win. That is indeed the truth. And, facing off against Dabo Sweeney and Cade Klubnik to open up the season and getting a good win there will be really big, to be honest with you. So, but is Garrett Nuss? That's a really good question. Is Garrett Nussmeier ready to lead the way? Is he ready to be mentioned in Heisman conversation? He had really good numbers, but in key moments of the games last year, he broke down and had really suspect play. Now, trying to force the ball in the tight windows, leading to turnovers and stuff like that. He has to be smarter at that. It's taking shots, and like I said, we have to kind of work on having more of a better running attack to take the pressure off of Garrett Nussmeier, who we know can sling the ball, got a tough arm, he can throw the ball downfield. We've seen him when he's in rhythm operate a very good offense, but we also have to give him a good running attack to kind of help that thing as well. So anyway, that's some of the article right here from him. And of course, our final article right here is a bit of news on the coaching front for LSU. Footballscoop.com reporting that LSU's adding former Tennessee offensive line to the offensive staff. Lampley, the name is Lampley. Jackson Lampley, a former census four-star offensive line prospect from Nashville area, Montgomery Bell Academy, and son of the former Vols SEC champion offensive lineman and ex-Nashville Sports Council president Brad Lampley, is transitioning to playing from the playing field to the coaching booth. Lampley is being hired to coach Kelly's LSU program, where he'll serve as the Tigers' offensive interim. Now, he endured his career playing, dealing with the Tennessee in a time which he appeared in 52 games, served a selfless role along the Vols offensive line en route to the program's first ever college football playoff appearance. and he is a son of one of the greatest from that area. And for him to cap his college career, coming on over to be an intern to start coaching is a pretty positive thing. So LSU's trying to bring in younger guys, guys still very much young, getting into coaching. That usually helps with them transitioning over to talk to young guys. So you got a younger guy or older guy talking to not so much older, but they're close, very as close as you can get them in terms of offensive linemen that played at a good level for the Vols. And we definitely need that type of temperament for our LSU offensive line, no doubt. And of course, we got this bonus article right here. LSU football's recruiting class ranks after SMU flips 4-star receiver. And this is straight up from the Sports Yahoo's LSU Wire. Shout out to Will Rosenblatt. LSU football watched its recruiting class take a hit with 4-star wide receiver Ja'Kai Anderson flipping to SMU, but the Tigers' 2026 class is still one of the best in the country. According to On3 industry rankings, LSU sits number 2, only trailing USC. Now, USC's placement at number 1 is largely due to volume. The Trojans already had 28 commits compared to LSU's 9, but LSU's average recruiting rating is 92.99, and it's the best in the country. 8 of the Tigers' 9 commits are blue chip recruits, including 2 5-stars. LSU holds a commitment with Tristan Keys, the number 1 ranked wide receiver in the class. Defensive lineman and Louisiana native Richard Anderson is the headliner on the defensive side. Now, given the pedigree of the 26 core, LSU has a chance to finish with the number 1 class in the country. Now, the momentum went against the Tigers last week when Anderson's flip and missing out on cornerback Hayward Howard, but LSU remains in a great spot. If all goes planned, this will be the best class that LSU's Brian Kelly has had since he's been here. So that's a little recap news on our recruiting side of the things, man. And like I said, we'd like to thank you guys for chiming in. Please feel free to comment on any of these articles in the comment section. Also, like I said, let us know how your feeling is about LSU going into the season. Do you feel like Finebaum and like myself that we believe that LSU has everything that it needs to take it to the next level? Is Garrett Nussmeier ready to take the step to lead LSU to the next level? What do you guys think? Put it in the comment section below and let your word be heard. With that being said, I'm Big Q. I'm gonna get out on this episode of Tuff Tiger Talk. We appreciate you as always. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the comment section, drop some of that good Tiger game. We're gonna holler at you on the next one. Much love, and go Tigers, people.
Subscribe to the Tuff Tiger Talk channel and stay up to date for all things LSU football.